Buenos días a todos ustedes, a nuestros líderes, a las familias bendecidas y a nuestros hermanos y hermanas de Centroamérica y el Caribe reunidos con nosotros esta mañana. Buenos días y bienvenidos a los que nos acompañaron por primera vez. Soy Teófil Paul, tengo 15 años y soy el primer hijo del líder nacional de Haití. Me da mucha alegría el poder veros y empezar este nuevo día de bendición y gracia juntos como una región. Acompáñenme a hacer la declaración de apertura. Hoy, en el 24º día, en el segundo mes, según el calendario celestial, en el 10º año de Jolnibuk, 26 de marzo del 2022, en la sesión 295 del Fundoque Matutino. Ofrecemos nuestra devoción para la unidad como una sagrada comunidad esperanzadora. Ahora saludaremos a nuestro Padre Celestial. 현진 참 부모님께 경배. Palo. Gracias. Entonces, recitemos juntos la séptima promesa de la familia en español. Nuestra familia soberana del Chonilguk, centrada en el amor verdadero por la perfección a la humanidad, basada en la cultura del corazón, conectada al linaje original, mediante una vida altruista de servicio por el bien de los demás. Estoy muy feliz de invitar a nuestra hermana Lismia Millien, una excelente hija y muy buena estudiante. Ella tiene 12 años y es la primera hija de nuestro hermano mayor, el reverendo Leslie Millien, el líder de nuestra iglesia en Puerto Príncipe. Ella hoy nos honra ofreciendo la oración representativa en nombre de todos nosotros. Bienvenida y gracias, hermana Lismia.
My name is Lismia Millien. I am 12 years old. I am a junior high school student. Warm greetings to everyone. Let's have a blessed day. Now I invite you to join me in prayer. Adorable Parent Céleste, source d'amour, lumière infinie, nous venons à toi, embarrassés et affaiblis. Face à la violence de ce monde et autour de nous. Nous te sommes infiniment reconnaissants d'avoir envoyé les vrais parents pour nous guider et nous montrer comment vaincre la violence et vivre une vie d'amour. Apprends-nous, s'il te plaît, à devenir des jeunes qui unissent leur cœur à celui des vrais parents pour construire ton royaume d'amour, de paix, de prospérité et de bonheur sur la terre comme au ciel. Bénis, parents d'amour, ce précieux moment de Undoké que nous allons passer dans l'étude de ta parole. Permets qu'il soit source de fraternité, de bonheur, de communion spirituelle pour chaque participant. C'est ainsi que je te prie dans le précieux nom des vrais parents, parents substantiels du ciel, de la terre et de toute l'humanité. Adieu.
Agradecemos a nuestra hermana Lismia por esta oración representativa. Igualmente, me siento muy feliz de invitar a nuestra hermana y mi propia hermanita Tioxan Paul. Ella es de segunda generación, tiene 12 años y es la tercera hija de mi familia. mi hermanita mayor. Ella es una excelente hija y hermana que colaboradora mucho en las actividades de los jóvenes aquí en Haití. La invito a que nos honra hoy leyendo las palabras del Jundoque. Bienvenida y gracias, hermana Tioxan.
Good morning. My name is Tioxan Pun. I'm 12 years old and I'm happy to participate in this Hundok session. You reap as you sow. Jesus Christ's teachings were hitting the very core of this fundamental truth. The more you give, the more you receive. God rewards total giving with total love and total sacrifice with total life. Giving creates room for God's love to enter. The more room and the greater the vacuum created by your giving, the faster you will be filled by the flow of God's love. To be treated well, you must first treat others well. You reap as you sow. Sow evil to reap evil. Sow goodness to reap goodness. Your concern should be how to give and how to give well. As for the return to you, you must trust in God. He will take care of it. Let us take an illustration of a good man and a bad man. Let us say there is one man who has 10 friends. Day in and day out, this man is unselfishly serving his 10 friends. People cannot help but love this man. He can become the very best friends to 10 people. Then his influence will spread to the relatives and friends of those first 10 people. By giving and serving unselfishly, this man becomes prosperous. He is a center of harmony and unity because he lives God's principle. Unselfishness brings prosperity. Here is a good man. But suppose, on the contrary, this man said to his friends, "You 10, bring everything to me. You are here to serve me." If he spoke this way to his friends 3 times, everyone will end all connection with him. They will want to have nothing at all to do with him. So he will be left all alone. Isn't that true even in our society? It is universally true. A self-centered doctrine, a self-centered philosophy, a self-centered way of life will fling your head over heels down the tragic road of all self-destruction. However, if you live your life in service to others, you will find prosperity. It may seem that such a route will lead you to ruin, but it will not. The only reason it may not always bring prosperity to you is because you do not give to the very end. In the middle, you suddenly become skeptical. You change your heart or pity yourself, and so you shrink from God's love of total giving. A good result never materializes. No, total giving is the way of prosperity because it is the way of God. If any individual sacrifices himself for another individual, he becomes a hero to others. If one family is sacrificial for the well-being of another family, then that family becomes a heroic family among all families. Peoples and nations will sacrifice themselves for the benefit of others, become champion of nations. A man who gives his life for his parents is a peer. A man who gives his life for his king is a loyal subject. And a man who gives his life for all mankind is a saint. Jesus Christ proclaimed this very truth you are hearing tonight. He strove for the fulfillment of God's truth on earth. He came not to satisfy his nation's selfish purpose, but to achieve salvation for the entire world. God intended the chosen people of Israel to serve as the prepared instrument of the Messiah for his mission of world salvation. The people of Israel did not know this. They conceived of the coming Messiah as an invisible military conqueror who will restore the political empire of King David for the glory of the Jews. How wrong they were! God's purpose is not the salvation of any particular man, church, or nation. God's purpose is to save the whole world. Therefore, the true church will give itself as a sacrifice for the benefit of the world. Yes, true. Christians must be willing to sacrifice their own lives for the salvation of the world and all mankind. However, Christian teachings today are self-centered. Christians are seeking their own personal salvation. Christians are crying out for my salvation and my heaven. This is contrary to God's truth and contrary to God's ideal. We must steadfastly give, love, sacrifice, and live for the sake of others. We must all work for the ideal way of life. I exist for my family. My family exists for our society. Our society exists for our nation. Our nation exists for the world. The world exists for God. And God exists for you and me, for all mankind. In this great circle of give and take, there is harmony, there is unity, and there is an internal process of increasing prosperity. Furthermore, sense and the secret of existence will fulfill its purpose of creation. There is abundant and profound joy. This is the kingdom of heaven, in which feelings of happiness overflow. In this world, selfishness ruins everything. Selfishness in the family causes disharmony, which then erupts into bitterness and strife. Everyone wants to be served instead of serving others. Wives tell their husbands what to do and then seek to be served. Husbands want to be served by their wives. Parents expect service from their children, and the children take their parents for granted. This is demonstrated in our families, in our societies, and in our nations. In this world today, nations exist solely for their own national interests. They plot, connive, cheat, and lie. They destroy other nations for their own national benefit. Is there even one nation on earth which pledged to God? God, you may use this nation as your sacrifice and as your altar, if that is the way you can save the world. Tell me, where is such a nation? Where? It is a recognized fact that when America demonstrated the spirit of service and sacrificial duty in the world and went out of her way to help others in their need, when America gave lives, money, and a helping hand, she enjoyed a golden age. But now, America has a selfish attitude. Its domestic problems today are very difficult. America's situation is chaotic. Today, there are greater divisions, more corruption, and graver problems choking this land. I'm not criticizing any people or nation. I am merely proclaiming the heavenly truth that all mankind is seeking. I started the Unification Church. If this Unification Church exists solely for the benefit of the welfare of the Unification Church itself, then it is doomed to perish. I founded the church so that I could give my life, my heart, and my soul for the advancement of the salvation of the world. Among this audience, there are many members of the Unification Church. Their great desire, their only motivation is to serve others, to save this nation and the world. Jesus did not teach his disciples laws of retaliation. He told them, if anyone strikes you on the right cheek, turn to him the other also. And if anyone forces you to go 1 mile, go with him 2 miles. You never have to retaliate. All you have to do is give completely and totally, and then God will return to you more and more abundantly. When Jesus was crucified, Roman soldiers pursued him, and Jesus prayed for his enemies. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Even at the moment of death on the cross, Jesus was so earnest and forgiving. His very last act was motivated by his love for his enemies. He was the supreme example of a paragon of love. The example of Jesus Christ is the absolute standard for all mankind. Just imagine an entire nation composed of men like Jesus. What will you call it? The kingdom of heaven on earth. It could be nothing less. Jesus Christ was Lord over all life because of his unparalleled throne of loving, giving, and sacrifice. He will remain the Lord forever. In the same way, no one in this universe surpassed the total giving and loving of God. So God is God forever. He reigns over all creation. Look at the decline of Rome. The entire Roman Empire collapsed in front of an army with no weapons, the army of Jesus Christ. By what means did the Christians conquer Rome? They conquered by love, sacrifice, and total giving up to the cost of their very lives. History is a witness that no empire can withstand the army of sacrificial love. And this history shall be repeated. Up to now in our lives, we did not know clearly the definition of good and evil. We could not be certain where to commit ourselves, when to act, what to serve. This has been the source of the greatest confusion in human lives. We must not become Christians who merely crave their own well-being. As Christians, we must live the life of Jesus and give ourselves totally for the benefit of others, so that others might have life. This is God's way. This present world is evoking the wrath of God. It surely deserves its uncompromising judgment. But God is love, and He is long-suffering. God is suffering his anger because he wants to save us. He is giving us a chance to change. He is waiting. I know that Western culture is characterized by individualism. However, selfish individualism is doomed. Sacrificial individualism will blossom. Individuality in itself is good. God gave each one of us a unique way to serve. But individualism without God can only build castles of love. Thank you.
Agradecemos a nuestra hermana Teosan por compartir. Agradecemos a nuestra hermana Teoxan por compartir con nosotros un texto sobre la Sagrada Escritura del Chonilguk. Ahora me emociona mucho y en honor invitar a nuestra hermana y mi hermana mayor Teofan Paul. Tiene 18 años y está en el último año de bachillerato. Teofan es una hermana de la que estoy muy orgulloso también. Es muy talentosa y apoya y participa mucho en las actividades de HUB, la Asociación de Escuelas Secundarias para la Investigación de Principios en los programas juveniles de nuestra iglesia y a compartirla unas palabras de inspiración o motivación con todos nosotros hoy. Muchas gracias y bienvenida, Teofan.
Thank you, Heavenly Parents, true parents, for the opportunity. I thank the MC for his work. I thank all leaders, families, brothers and sisters taking part of the HDH session. I am Teofan Paul. And I also thank the MC for his loving introduction, and to Lismi Amelie, whom offered the representative prayer, and for Teoksan for the reading. It's a real pleasure for me to be with you today and to be able to talk about my personal experiences. What I'm about to tell you is something which is very close to my heart, something which began a few years ago and which today has become even more critical and even more alarming. And above all, something which has changed a lot in me. And that thing is indeed the security situation in my country, as well as its impact, and social and civic life. You're certainly aware that currently in Haiti, insecurity reigns with an iron fist. This insecurity is caused by the rise in power of armed gangs, brainless bandits, who exerces their full power in Haiti territory, and to whom children, women, and even men have been forced to bow down. They commit unimaginable acts of violence, and above all have also favored the incalculable increase in the rate of kidnapping, and which means that today Haiti has one of the highest kidnapping rates in the world. And every day, making the news, we are told of the kidnappings that have been made, from people who hold high office to the smallest unfortunate Haitian. And every day we hear testimonies that rip our hearts out and gradually destroy any hope of change for the nation. Every day, people who go out into the streets risk their lives because the bandits don't pity anyone. And I have to tell you, people, especially from the popular masses, have to go out into the street in order to be able, I won't even say not to support the needs of their family, but simply to feed their family. No one, even the most secure person in the nation, namely the President of the Republic, is spared from this unfortunate situation. So everyone is terrified. Many are already thinking about his death. So how can we explain that a group of parents stay all day long in front of their children's school door, so much that they're afraid that something bad will happen to them? How can we explain that before going to school, some students, pupils of targeted areas see corpses lying on the ground, not even that they see signs of atrocious killing? How can we explain that these people die without being able to find justice, without ever knowing the assassins responsible for their death? And even the President of the Republic of Haiti, who was assassinated last year, has not yet found justice. What message do we want to convey to us, students or pupils full of hopes and dreams, who see themselves trampled day after day by criminals and even by the incapable government? But the question that is urgent for us to answer is, What should we do in this case? I must tell you that these questions are very frequent in the debates or discussions carried out within schools such as mine. The professors or teachers keep reminding us that we are the future of the nation, that we are the only hope of the nation. Nevertheless, many think only of fleeing the country to build another life in another country, because I must admit that this very intolerable situation has deeply frustrated young people, including me sometimes, and has destroyed the lives for some others. Indeed, because of all of this, our smiles have been taken away, dreams have been shattered, families have been destroyed for some people. The principal of my school, Mrs. Farah Martin Lamotte, lost her life because of the same bandits, and that has been a difficult time in my life since someone so dear to me was taken away from me in this way. So everyone is frustrated, especially for young people in Haiti. We're almost devastated, knowing that we have completely neglected or ruined our mental and emotional development. Sometimes we cannot even go to school normally. And in this case, we spend weeks at home hearing the sound of bullets for some. And we say to ourselves that, in fact, it's not a country. And it's in this period of my life that I seek our Heavenly Parent earnestly in my prayers and try to understand His heart. I pray to our Heavenly Parent constantly, asking him that what I can do for Haiti, how I can put my life at the service of the nation, how I can save all these people who are crying out for help, and above all for the help of God, of our Heavenly Parent. Every day I try to be as brave as possible in facing this fear of dying or seeing my loved ones die in these conditions, trying to overcome this feeling of helplessness, which grows day by day, trying to overcome this feeling of guilt because I can't do anything. I can save the people from the bandits who kill children, women, men unjustly. I can stop all these kidnappings. I can stop the corruption that raised in this country, and the fact of realizing it always hurts me very much. In spite of my prayers, in spite of this struggle that I carry out inside me, at the beginning, I didn't arrive at a satisfactory result. I cannot obtain all the desired answers. But in the midst of this contagious despair, despite this toxic air, and the midst of these people who have resigned themselves or who want to flee, there is always this light which continues to shine, continue to fight in very strongly within me, and which motivates me a lot and motivates me not to catch me in this trap. I want to continue to fight because I also want to inspire others to do so. I want to be courageous because I also want others to take courage. I want to make efforts and make sacrifices because I want to encourage others to do likewise. And this is one of my greatest motivations. It's like my own challenge. And as our father has often said, and what I respect very much, learning is the first thing we must prioritize in life, especially for young people. Studying, and that's how we can succeed in everything we want to do in our life. So that's why, despite all this pressure, I am very grateful for all the inspiration our Heavenly Parent give me, for the teachings of true parents and other leaders, for the immeasurable support of my parents, of my family, my brothers and sisters in church, all my relatives. And every day I learn from them, and I'm a little proud of my efforts to become a better person. So now I would like to show you a rehearsal video sung by YSP members in Haiti, which is a way for us also to overcome the situation in the country by uniting our hearts.
No sounds. Video, no sounds. Please, can you check it, the sounds?
Comment?
When you share, you need to select, click, and share the sounds. Please. Can you?
Excuse me a moment.
Can you share again, please? When you start to sharing this video, you need to select in the bottom of the video. They are share the audio too. Okay. Please share again.
Yes. Yes.
In the bottom, in the left side, they are sound sharing too.
Okay, no.
Great.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Aju. Wow, my goodness.
Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yo, wow, my goodness. Aju. Hallelujah.
Excellent.
Agradecemos a nuestra hermana Teofan por este hermoso mensaje que compartió con nosotros y por este video representado a nuestros jóvenes que cantan en nuestra iglesia. Antes de hacer nuestra oración en unison, a todos los hermanos y hermanas que se nos unen hoy por primera vez a la sesión del Fundoque, muchas gracias, bienvenidos y bienvenidas. Hola, líderes, familias bendecidas, hermanos y hermanas reunidos esta mañana, oremos juntos. Un especial agradecimiento a la Sagrada Comunidad de País, anfitrión y al grupo anfitrión o la familia anfitriona de hoy y a intérpreten de la sesión. Éxitos y bendiciones en sus misiones a todos ustedes, líderes, familias bendecidas, apreciados hermanos y hermanas de la Sagrada Comunidad de Hanul Kumonim. Ok, manse para todos.
Muy buenos días. Good morning, dear brother and sister. Please, let's give a big applause to our youth leader from Haití. Démosle un caluroso aplauso a nuestros líderes jóvenes, juveniles de Haití. Wow, hablan inglés, hablan francés, hablan español. No tienen límites. Wow, por favor, enviémosles a ellos nuestros saludos de Saranhamnida, Kamsahamnida.
Haiti did a great job.
Wow, son excelentes cantantes. Fariola, wow, usted es profesional, una cantante profesional. Teofanen también, wow. Queridos hermanos y hermanas, ¿quieren escuchar una vez más el coro profesional de los jóvenes de Haití?
Sí, sí, sí.
Okay, can you share again the video, please? Let's move together with them. Let's sing together. Vamos a cantar juntos.
Felicidades, felicidades, jóvenes de Haití.
Wow, queridos hermanos y hermanas de Haití, estamos muy orgullosos de ustedes. We are very proud. Queridos hermanos y hermanas, una vez más. Muchísimas gracias al grupo anfitrión del día de hoy, la Sagrada Comunidad de Haití, para iniciar el día. Después de esta linda sesión, vamos a hacer ejercicios matutinos para tener buena salud, siempre recordando las palabras de la Madre Verdadera. Si nosotros perdemos nuestra salud, lo hemos perdido todo. Y entonces, con ese espíritu, vamos a ponernos de pie para hacer los ejercicios.
Sí, los pies.
그대가 돌아서면 두 눈이 마주칠까 심장이 바운스 바운스 두근데 들릴까봐 겁나 한참을 망설이다 용기를 내 밤새워 준비 한숨 내고 고백해도 될까 처음 본 순간부터 내 모습이 내 가슴 울렁이게 만들었어 Baby you're my trampoline You make me bounce bounce 수많은 인연과 바꿈 어인 걸 사랑이 남긴 상처들도 감싸줄게 어쩌면 우린 벌써 알고 있어 그토록 찾아 헤맨 사랑의 꿈 외롭게만 하는 걸 You make me You make me bounce 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 망설여져 나 혼자만의 감정일까 내가 잘못 생각한 거라면 어떡하니 눈물이 나 별처럼 반짝이는 눈망울도 수줍어 달콤하다 내 입술도 내겐 꿈만 같은 걸 You make me 벌써 알고 있어 너를 찾아 헤맨 사랑의 꿈 외롭게만 하는 걸 어쩌면 벌써 You make me Oh you make me
Queridos hermanos y hermanas,
Wow.
muchísimas gracias porque los extrañamos. Nos vemos mañana en el mundo que.
Ya, gracias.
Gracias a todos.
Haití.
Sí.
Muchas gracias, Haití.
Gracias.
Excelente.
Mañana nos honrará la Sagrada Comunidad de Costa Rica.
Buenos
Los esperamos.
días, good morning.
Good morning. Gracias, Teófilo. Merci beaucoup. Great job.
Hasta mañana.
Hasta mañana.
Hasta mañana. veces. Hola. Muy bien. Gracias, Haití. Gracias.
Vamos a ver esta tela. Então, vem arroz. Vem arroz. Bye bye, que tenga buen día, muchas bendiciones.
Igual, gracias.
Adiós. Te bendiga mucho.
Morning, buenos dias,
Buenos días.
my brothers and sisters. Have a fantastic day.
Thank you, you too.
Hey, morning, Gail. Morning, Hampshire. Morning, Celeste.
Hello. Merci
Hi.
beaucoup. Viva Haiti. Hello, Manse, everybody.
Gracias.
Merci.
Merci beaucoup, merci.
Thank you.
Thank you, gracias a todos. Manse.
감사합니다.
감사합니다.
Josefa, 사랑합니다.
Kamsahamnida. Haití, felicitaciones. Hermoso testimonio. Muy bellos. Hola, Sakata-san. Señora María. Yo Domingo.
Buenos días.
Buenos días.
Bendiciones.
Igualmente, hermana María.
Hi, Hampshire.
Hi, Cheryl. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you, young people.
Morning. Morning.
Beautiful.
Hasta mañana, Eliezer. Hasta mañana a todos.
Mañana, gracias.
Mañana, Fabiola.
Hermosas chicas de Haití, hermosos chicos. Los amo.
Felicidades.
Very good.
3 veces la puse. Mucho, mucho.
Fabiola con su coro.
Where's
Felicidades.
let me come back. You don't want the room.
Who did you get in the
Keep that,